Ever catch yourself yawning just because you saw someone else do it? Or have you ever thought, man, a sandwich just tastes so much better when someone else makes it for you? Well, we're about to dive into the fascinating and, let's be honest, sometimes really weird reasons we all do the things we do. And we're going to start with just one number that shows how much of your life is basically run on autopilot.
95%. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. According to psychologists, that's how many of our daily decisions are made subconsciously. Yeah, that's right. Most of your day, you're kind of sleepwalking through choices, from what you grab for breakfast to the route you take to work. It really just goes to show how much is happening right under the surface.
All right, so let's pull back the curtain on some of those strange little habits our brains get up to every single day, most of the time without us even having a clue. You ever find your mind just drifting off in the middle of an important meeting? Don't worry, you are definitely not alone. A study from 2014 found that on any given day, our minds wander for about 30% of the time. It's almost like a built-in mental screensaver. But here's where it gets really interesting. That number can totally skyrocket depending on what you're doing. As you can see here, if you're driving down a long, quiet road, your mind wandering can leap to a staggering 70%. It just shows how much our environment dictates our focus. Okay, think about the last movie you watched. I bet you remember how it started and that big twist at the end, right? But the middle, that's probably a little fuzzy. Well, there's a name for that, the serial position effect. Our brains are wired to give extra importance to the first thing we hear, because it's new, and the last thing we hear, because it's still fresh in our memory. The middle? Not so much. And what about this one? Why does food always seem to taste better when someone else cooks it? The psychology behind it is actually pretty simple. When you're making it yourself, you're around the smells and ingredients for so long that the novelty just wears off by the time you eat. But when someone else makes it, the whole thing is a delicious surprise. So all these internal quirks are pretty fascinating, but things get way more complicated, when we add other people to the equation. Let's take a look at how our minds work when we're in a crowd. Welcome to the world of social psychology, where just having other people around can fundamentally change the way your brain operates. It's wild.
150. This number is known as Dunbar's number, and it's the theoretical limit to how many people we can have stable social relationships with. The idea is that the part of our brain that handles complex thought, the neocortex, just doesn't have the bandwidth to juggle more than about 150 real connections. So, how do we even connect with those 150 people? Well, a huge part of the answer is something called mirror neurons. These are incredible. They're the reason we feel empathy, why we can learn by watching someone. They literally fire up not just when we do something, but also when we see someone else do the exact same thing. And the best, most relatable example of these mirror neurons in action? The contagious yawn. Yep, the next time you see someone yawn and you immediately do it too, you can thank these amazing little brain cells for trying to create a moment of shared experience. Our social brains don't just sit back and watch. They actually influence what's happening. This is the incredible power of a self-fulfilling prophecy. When we expect someone to act a certain way, whether it's good or bad, our own actions can actually push them to become what we expect. What we believe about people can literally help shape who they are. Okay, now we're going to go one layer deeper. We're getting into the secrets of the subconscious, those powerful, hidden forces that are pulling the strings without us even realizing it. Have you ever been so stressed out you get a headache? Or felt so heartbroken it was like a punch to the gut? That is not just in your head. Your brain processes emotional pain and physical pain in incredibly similar ways. That means psychological distress can, and does, show up as real physical pain in your body. And this mind-body connection, it goes all the way down to your cells. You see, strong emotions like anger cause your brain to release these chemical messengers. These messengers then latch onto your body's cells, and over time, they can actually change how those cells behave. It's an incredible example of how our feelings can literally become our biology. Now, this might be one of the scariest things about our subconscious, just how vulnerable it is. A 2015 study showed that under enough pressure and suggestion, people can create entirely false memories. It's a really chilling reminder that our memory isn't some perfect recording. It's a story our brain tells itself, and that story can be edited. Okay, so after all of that, you might be feeling like we're just passengers in our own minds. But we're not. Let's talk about how we can actually use all this knowledge to our advantage.
First off, forget that myth about it taking 21 days to form a new habit. A 2009 study found that the reality is way more all over the place. The average is about 66 days, but it can take anywhere from 18 days to over 250. So if you're trying to build a new routine, the real secret is patience and consistency, not some magic number. Have you ever kept watching a really terrible movie just because you were already an hour in? That, my friends, is the sunk cost fallacy. It's a mental trap that makes us throw good money or time after bad because we get hung up on what we've already invested. Just recognizing this trap is the first step to making way better decisions about your future. And hey, here's a quick little hack for you. Need to focus? Studies have shown that the color blue is psychologically linked with relaxation and serenity, which can help quiet all that mental noise and actually boost your productivity. See? Sometimes a simple change can make a huge difference. So, if there's one big thing to take away from all this, it's probably this. From our subconscious choices and our mental biases to the influence of the people around us, a lot of the control we think we have, well, it's kind of an illusion. We are guided by all these hidden forces we rarely even noticed. But listen, knowing that isn't a limitation, it's empowering. By understanding these forces, we get a whole new level of awareness. We might not have total control, but we do have the power of choice. So the real question is, knowing what you know now, how are you going to choose to use that power?